So most people I meet with or have met with are like, I'm throwing stuff out there, I'm not getting anything back. I'm like, what do you want back?
But when you get that on a platform like that, the vanity gets into you a little bit and it's an embarrassment. It's kind of like, oh, I'm not doing this right or something's not happening.
Drop like the pressure of like trying to be something that you're not. Like starting a business from scratch is grind. Like it sucks. Like show it, talk about it.
Welcome back to another episode of the WIBs pod. On today's episode, we have the incredible M. Rose Hills. Now, M. Rose has had a phenomenal career in social media. She previously worked for major brands like the NRL and the Iconic, but she's a dynamic social media strategist and she's known for transforming brands into digital powerhouses. We are so happy to have her on the podcast today. This was such an interesting interview. We cannot wait for you to hear it. Let's dive in.
So, firstly, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into your career, how you started your business, all the little bits and pieces?
So I first started learning about social media when I was at university. I basically had a huge loan that I needed to pay off and I had no idea how I was going to do that. So I basically set up a dog walking business on this thing called Instagram when it wasn't a thing, and basically used Instagram to find people that own dogs, and I basically uploaded dog memes, and then I would slide into people's DMs being like, hey, does your dog want walking? And that's kind of how my love affair, I guess, started with social media. And then, so that was kind of early 20s. And then I left uni and then went into advertising for a long time. So advertising agencies where I was singed to a little piece of dust, as those agencies do. And then was working across multiple different brand accounts and then led social media teams at the Iconic, NRL and Finder later in my 20s. So kind of huge. In that 10-year corporate period, I kind of just went for it. I was chasing money essentially. I was like, I want to own a house. I want cute bags. I want cute shoes. I need to make this happen. So I did that for my whole 20s basically. And then when I was 30, my dad died. He died, he got given 3 months to live. So I basically flew back to London, said goodbye to my dad. And then after he died, obviously the way I saw the world was really different. It put a lot of things into perspective for me. And basically a way of that I dealt with my grief after my dad died was I basically just put an Ask Me Anything link in my LinkedIn bio. And at that time, I only had 200 followers. It was people I had worked with or whatever, in that corporate era.
Yeah.
And then people started booking into that. And at the time, because I was at the NRL, I had that kind of bougie cool job. I was kind of head of social media at the NRL. So people were like, oh my God, I want to ask her a question. Sure.
Yeah.
Which definitely helped. But basically I answered Australia's social media questions for a year. I met with, over 3,500 people, I think it was at that time. Every day I was getting out of bed to answer these questions. And I did that for a year, zero money. My partner was hashtag fuming at me. He's like, sis, do you remember when you were
in
hustling your 20s for the house and the mortgage which you got? Who's paying that now? So my partner was literally sacrificial lamb and shout out to him, amazing. But so I basically just answered social media questions for free for a year. And then started to pick up clients, and then kind of fast forward 2 years where I am now, where I basically head up Australia's first social media coaching agency. So I hope that's not too long-winded, and your poor editor can hash that out. But that's basically the story. So started as a dog walker, learned how to use Instagram when I was in my early 20s, then went into advertising. Then went into the big corporate world, did the whole song and dance, not wearing a pink suit, and then left, and then, now run my own business.
I actually love hearing that story, and I think that's so important because a lot of our listeners, they're jumping on, and they are in that kind of that midway point maybe in their career. They're working through, they're grinding it out, and maybe they want to start their own business or maybe they want to know what's possible, what's next. But I think it's such a great origin story, and I love what you did in terms of opening up your calendar, because that's what attracted me to you when I was looking for someone incredible to sort of talk and speak on the topic. So for full disclosure, Em and I have collaborated in the past for my full-time job at Founder, and she's presented and done this incredible presentation. And I think that the thing that really drew me to you is your capacity to give back to people in the industry. And that is such a rare thing because people, like the first thing when I hit them up usually, all right, how much are you going to pay me to do this? Da, da, da. And I always find that the best teachers are the people that are just naturally drawn and wanting to help people, and then everything kind of pans out the way it's meant to from there. So I love that.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, it's quite unique what you did with the Ask Me Anything. Like, you kind of like did something that a lot of people weren't doing at that point where, people were like posting about value, but everyone was kind of like consumed with views and consumed with that, whereas you're like, I'm actually going to give you value if you how did you get traction to it? Because you said that you started at like 200 followers, say, in LinkedIn, for example. Yep. How are you getting people asking you?
Yeah. So basically that one post that I posted from my sunroom, my apartment, basically lots of people liked it and shared it and commented on it. So it basically went like viral, if we want to use that sin word, that dirty word. And then basically each week what I do is on the Friday, I would then share the learnings from the conversations that I was having. So basically people would book in, and at the beginning it was just like a Calendly link. I had no boundaries because I was like, no one's going to like book into this, like chuck it to the wind, whatever, give it a go, red hot crack, which is like one thing you learn to do when you work in social media for over a decade is just like, you got to just test stuff and see. So I was like, I'll just test it. So I had like no boundaries set up, no whatever, and people just started booking in at these random times, like Sunday at 1 p.m. I'm like, is this person fucking joking? Obviously that's like my job to put those boundaries in. But basically I would basically open up the sessions. I would then share like all the learnings on the Friday, and then people would engage with that, and then after seeing that they would then book in for the following week. So I just was going like week by week, and I kind of just kept going, and then I still do it now. I don't share the learnings, but basically the thought process of doing it is that in my industry, there's a lot of people that are kind of trying to sell blueprints and trying to sell these. I mean, you guys would see this a lot, that actually it's just crap info. And like, I really believe that like every business is bespoke. Yes, the principles are the same. And yes, like a lot of the kind of like steps that we have to go through are the same, but every business is different. And like, there's no way that you can
apply the same thing, one size fits all.
No. And like, for instance, like for me to make $1 million, I needed 8 people. So the size of my community or like my marketing strategy to attract those 8 people was very different to that of like other businesses that are needing to attract 8 people an hour or 80. So I think the bespoke nature of it, and then sharing the learnings on the Friday basically kept the momentum going. And people could see like, I don't know, that I was actually doing it. And I think like trust is like such an important thing, especially in this market. Everyone says, I'm going to do this thing. And then are you doing it? Like, and so I was showing up and doing the work. You're not just proving it.
Yeah. Like, you're not just sitting back being like, this is how you grow on social media, and then just giving them all these principles without actually proving that things work and things go do. I get what you're saying. I think a lot of, because social media is so new, I think that's quite easy for somebody to kind of come up and say, you know, I'm a social media expert, because the reality of it is like, it's so new that it's really hard to see through it. It's so hard.
But good on them. I mean, I see these like young hussies coming in and I'm like, yes, sis, like I love that you are just going out there. And like, it's probably like my favorite thing about social media is like anyone can show up there. But that being said, doing the do for a long time is important in this space. So if someone's listening and they're like, want to be a freelance social media person, my advice to them would be like, grow your own account, or grow like 3 accounts, or grow 5 accounts, like, and learn how to grow them. Because once you've learned how to grow them, you get the experience, and you need it across multiple different niches. Because a lot of people can be hot and grow a following on Insta. Like, because they're like a hot young thing.
They're just like gorgeous and posting like lifestyle.
They're strong. And like, that's fine. And I'm not critiquing that. Like, I think that's awesome. But like, if someone's going to pay you to grow their business with them, you have to have the creds, and you have to prove that you can actually do it and that you've done it multiple times.
I completely agree with that. And I love what you said about it's not the same for every business. Like, you can have some kind of a blueprint or a formula that you use, but it really is has to be customizable. You have to kind of jump in and figure out like where does that play in for the niche. And I think it's so important that you're talking about it, because so many people jump into it and think, okay, if I do this trend every day for my business and I jump on all of these things, then it'll work for me and I'll grow. And then people get so disappointed and so unenthused when it doesn't hit that way for them. And I guess like with your clients, is this something that they kind of come to you with, all of these people, these 3,000 people you spoke to? Is that kind of a pain point that you saw people coming to you with?
Yeah. I mean, social media requires so much effort, as we all know. Like, and it's huge time investment, huge like financial investment. Like it's huge. And so you have to model out, like you have to have the financial part of it modeled out first. So like that's the flip. So most people I meet with or have met with or speak to just over a wine or whatever are like, I'm throwing stuff out there, I'm not getting anything back. I'm like, what do you want back? Yeah. And they're like, and I'm like, okay, so talk to me about money. Like, let's have a chat about it. So how much do you want? Like a month, like talk to me. Do you want 10 grand a month? Do you want 100 grand a month? Do you want $1 million a month? Like, what are you doing? And they like look at me and they kind of like are taken aback that I'm so direct with that question. But the thing is, like, you're an absolute idiot if you're investing in social media marketing without understanding like how much money you're going to be trying to generate, because the end goal is always revenue. And so if you're getting like multiple viral reels, right, for your, I don't know, jewelry business or whatever, and no one's buying, like we've got a problem.
Yeah.
So what I would say is like, okay, how many necklaces do we need to buy? How many necklaces do we need to sell each month? Okay, cool. Let's work back from that and then figure out like what the social media strategy is. And I mean, that is that basically is my line that I like repeat back to these businesses, and then they then come back and they're like, that was so helpful, thank you so much, now like we've switched it. But it's, yeah, a lot of people are just doing it for the sake of doing it and then getting very burnt out and very upset that it's not delivering the outcome that they want. But if they knew the outcome they wanted and they knew the numbers, I feel like the plans and the steps to get there would be much less disheartening.
So talk to me about the idea then, because I find this an interesting question.
Yeah.
I feel like, and there's been a bit of a shift as well of people looking at social media or from an organic perspective and thinking of it as more of a brand piece versus the revenue driving exercise, which I'm sure must drive you absolutely batshit crazy. But in saying that, so say I've got my goal and I want to sell like 30 units a month from whatever it is, maybe it's like a high ticket item. How do you set them up for success then? Because that is, I think people know maybe what they want or maybe they don't know, but then that's the precipice where they're like, okay, shit, I'm stuck.
Okay, so obviously like we're in business to make money. End of story. We don't set up businesses for fun. Like we don't. And if we do, like good on you. Like, I mean, I love what I do. And like now I've made enough money doesn't drive me, but most people would get into business to make some money. Definitely. Make more money than what they're making currently. So the brand piece, like we invest in brand to increase revenue. So on social media, like this is where people get basically twisted, is they think that by putting the brand objective on social media means, or like on organic social, that takes the pressure off driving revenue. But like, why the hell as a business owner would you be investing in brand if you couldn't see an ROI? So what I say is use organic social to get as much organic reach as you can, because you don't have to pay for it. Like if you create good enough content, people like it and share it, you get that for free, tick. But what we must do is extract the data, especially in e-com land, extract the data from the Instagram and the TikTok into your own ecosystem, which is your email, and then you attribute revenue there. So for example, I have a client and we're funneling out 10,000 leads a month into their email. They then go through a welcome flow, and then we're seeing really good results that are trackable. Now, the reels on Instagram are not like buy. They're inspiring them, they're getting their attention, they're seeing it, they're sharing it with a friend, fine, tick, great. Then they get something in return for an email address, they get a free flight, going to win a free flight if they join our mailing list, and then they go into a welcome flow, which then they purchase. So it's not the brand thing of like, no, don't talk to the organic social team about revenue, like don't worry them, like don't, no, it's like, no, worry them. Their job is to get as much reach and as much engagement as they can, and then funnel organically, if you've got an organic social team, basically siphon the leads out into the email system so that the company own it, and then kind of nurture from there.
I think that's a really smart way to put it. I like the way that you kind of, because it's what every business owner wants to hear, right? Exactly what you just said is like, yes, because I get so frustrated with social media, because I know that a lot of, especially the older generations, when they think of social media, they're like, okay, cool, people dancing on TikTok and things like that, but what is it actually going to get me? So I love how you go backwards from that. And it's like, well, it can get you things if you're doing it in the right way. My question to you is, if you're like client or not, like where do you play in that, in the sense of, do you help with like, because that sounds great, but what about like the strategy of how to do that, and especially when like a few people have balls in the air of all different things? Like, you know, one of the things I get a lot of questions from e-commerce students is, okay, cool, but like what do I focus on and how do I do it, and how do you get that idea of what success looks like?
Yeah, so it's very simple in my book, like very black and white. Like it's how much money do you want to generate, and let's work back from that. It's like that's just where I start, and then it's a to-do list. It's a really simple to-do list of like what they need to do each week to get there. Like obviously if the business is generating zilch right now, like let's try and generate $1 little.
Yeah.
Thank you. And figure out how we're going to generate $1 little. But like if the business is turning over a couple of million a year, like it's kind of cool because you already have all of that data around like how they've generated that. And then we're using social media to add rockets to that, which is cool. But yeah, it's very simple, this. And I get told by a lot of people, like, stop simplifying it because you should be charging for it. And like, simple doesn't equal money and like all this like crap. But I'm like, that's not what drives me now. Like what drives me is that like people have the information. Like our space is just full of FOMO, which it usually is driven by like softwares that are trying to sell you something. That FOMO, like social media marketing has not changed since I had a dog walking business. It has not changed. It has not changed. Yes, there's more video. Cool. The principle has not changed. Build an audience, deliver value to them, funnel them off the platform, sell to them. Done. Like, and that has been the same for over a decade, and I think it will be the same until I die. Yes, there's different levers at different things, but I think people just get really overwhelmed.
For sure.
From the noise. And yeah, the way I work and the way I see it is like, how much money do you want to generate? Work back from that. If you only need to find 8 people, you don't need a community of 1 million.
Yeah, because I think there's
and
a
that's
lot of that.
like that's huge. Because
And vanity versus results. I think social media is full of like vanity. It's vanity, because you're right. Like I heard a quote from somebody that stuck with me, and it was like, why are you stressed over when you're posting a video like 300 people are viewing it? Like if you were in a room speaking to 300 people, you'd be laughing. Like it's incredible to be able to get that many people, especially in your target market. If you're speaking to a room of 300 people, say women in business, that's a huge feat. That's something that's so exciting.
Yeah.
But when you get that on a platform like that, the vanity gets into you a little bit, and it's an embarrassment. It's kind of like, oh, I'm not doing this right, or something's not happening.
I feel like I need to be like 1 million followers to
That's
feel
our
good
mental.
about this.
And that's what I love about what you're saying is you cut it back, and it's kind of like,
how many
you can
customers do you need?
That's it. Like it is all about money. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, that's the
To
thing.
an extent.
And like, and I think there's like shame around that. And I've like definitely had like lots of judgment around the way I look at it. Like I've lost a lot of friends. Like I lost a lot of like old colleague friends, like relationships, because I'm in a creative industry. And so I'm surrounded by creative people that the moment that you talk about revenue, they kind of like blinkers go up and they're like, I'm trying to create this emotive video. I'm like, cool, I love your emotive video and there's space for it. But I can actually allocate more money to you if I can prove that we're doing this as a revenue driver. We're not doing this as like a fun project.
Yeah.
And that's been quite a cool shift. Like, because a lot of my creative friends, you know, graphic designers, videographers, copywriters, all of my like amazing network who are all creatives at the beginning were kind of like, oh, like this is like, I don't know. They were kind of like, it worries me because you're putting this pressure on our creative to deliver at a performance level. But I'm like, no, this, you need to rethink this. And actually, if you're part of a business or communities that are generating revenue as a creative, that, as I was just saying, is better for you because number one, your day rate is going to be higher and they're going to value the work that you do because they can see a direct impact on the bottom line.
Yeah.
You're not just like in Canva, like scrapping around, like, yeah, chuck it on social, which like really triggers me. It's like respect it. Like, this is an art form. Like, this is not a joke. This is not something that you just give to an intern. Yes, we can do it on Canva, but it still requires someone to look at it. So I get like very passionate about that. But my job, I feel, is to prove the value of it from a revenue perspective so that then I can basically keep the creative industry like in work, basically.
Yeah.
I think you come from a very different point of view. You've got, and I love it because I'm a creative at heart as well, but I'm also a business person at heart as well. So I can understand. And I think sometimes where it gets quite hard is when you do try and justify, like when we were building a team, it was really hard for the creatives to justify pay rises, right? Because as they're going through the cycles, how can you justify a pay rise when you're not directly impacting revenue? It's like people in HR as well. They've got to learn the language so that when they go and ask for a pay rise or they're speaking to somebody about getting paid more, they've got to learn how to bring that back to performance because it's not technically performance. But if you're in HR and you lose somebody, well, what's going to cost to replace them? And there's different ways to kind of reallocate your brain around that. And I think there needs to be more around creatives because I agree with what you say. I couldn't agree with you more about what you're saying because creatives do have the power to directly affect bottom line. That's a non-negotiable. Like that's
they
definitely
do through the paid ads. So 100%. What we're seeing more now is like creatives, like TikTok creators are getting paid to create kind of, let's say, 12 9x16 reels that then are being used and tested for paid ads. Out of every 12 that we test, maybe one goes off. And like for a client, one of those 12 generated them $500,000. Now, are you telling me that the creative is not valuable? Like the creative has paid for its salary until the creative dies.
Yeah.
So I think it's like figuring that out as well of like how like protecting the creatives in this space.
That's why I love what you're saying because I don't think it's a different perspective, especially as a young creative because we have a lot of younger listeners. When I say younger, I mean, you know, you're studying your marketing degree, you're in there and you don't get taught this. What you're saying right now, for you to be able to and it's not just about charging more, it's about understanding your worth and what you can bring to a business. But paid more, charging more, just in your career and kind of getting over that imposter syndrome that a lot of people feel.
Yeah. It gives
Bring it back to performance is perfect.
It gives you confidence in yourself because I can't tell you, like starting out, like we both have a journalism background. My first role I ever had was as a social media like assistant somewhere.
Social media something.
Something
like all of us started there.
God. And at the time I felt it was such a vanity thing at the time more than ever because it was like make it look beautiful at all costs and focus on that and just like have a beautiful flat lay and everything will be like perfect, fine.
Flat lays,
And it actually...
That was a time.
Chic.
It was so chic, right? And I put them together masterfully, I must say. But it was something where you start to question your value because then I start to get deeper into the e-commerce space and work on email. And if I had someone like you telling me back then to say... your channel that you're managing, that you're looking after right now, like your Pinterest that you're spending, 6 hours on a day just to curate it and put together, this can be something really valuable.
Is really valuable,
and that's the thing. Like, but people aren't taught that is what creative work can equate to a monetary value and does often. I also think that from a creative standpoint, like it feels a bit, I think we need to get over ourselves and the idea of it being like a dirty thing to create art or to create something beautiful or something that people love and then also get a result out of it. Because that is a conversation I've had with many designers because they feel like, oh, I'm uncomfortable with pushing this or I'm uncomfortable with asking for an email or something like that. But it goes to show that you can have a myriad of different ways to look at content and then make it into like a revenue driving activity. I think it's really important that people know that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the salaries are paid for these people by the businesses that are generating money. And having bootstrapped my business from zero and scaled it to $1 million, I unfortunately like money in, money out. Like if I'm paid, do you know what I mean? Like
100%.
Annual leave, sick leave, like all of these things that we get as employees. Like if I kind of got comments like that, I would say with love, go find another job. Like go work for an art gallery, like go work you do that, boo. Like those opportunities, that's there for you. But you can't have the 100K salary. You get the 100K salary because you're working for a business that is generating money. And if that doesn't align with your values, like pick another job.
Honestly, can you say that one more time? Because
I'm clipping that one.
job.
I'm going to clip that one and just put it right.
Because you're not working. It's not a charity. It's not an art and creative project. And like I don't personally don't think that there's anything wrong with building something beautiful and that can also be functional in the way that it acts as that activity
Gucci.
for you. Yeah.
Exactly. Stunning.
Yeah, there's it. There are. There's
Lono, stunning, Loewe. Like there's lovely things that like. Yeah.
No, I completely agree.
So in regards, because you said the thing about branding and revenue, and I completely understand that. What about the big surge now of any business owner now building your personal brand?
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a big thing now. And I feel really overwhelmed by it personally. Being a business owner, my business is in the B2B space. So I don't know, yes, they are on social media, absolutely. But my space is probably more LinkedIn and that side of things. But I also understand the play that everything else has in it. There's a lot of pressure, even the business owners I speak to day in, day out, to build that personal brand and build it up and build it up. And I get you can relate that to revenue. I totally get that. But like, it's also incredibly, like is it that important? Like, what do you think about building your personal brand?
Do you want my honest opinion?
Yes, please.
Let it rip.
Okay.
Go.
You might need to edit some of this out. I just want to preface this by saying, like, I love Australia. Like, I'm marrying an Australian. I love living here. When I was at Finder, I did a lot of research, consumer research around Australians and what makes them buy and what puts them off. And one of the key things here in this country that the research tells us is that trust is number one. So you can find this research, probably there's a bunch of free stuff online that you can go and have a look at. So trust. If we say we are who we say we are, I think maybe it's like for every person that believes, there'll be one person that doesn't. So, you know, I say, I'm Em, I'm a social media coach. People are like, is she? Is she really? So I've had to spend 3 years proving to you lot that I am who I say I am. And I'm fucking exhausted by it. Like, I've built 20,000 followers on LinkedIn. I've generated $1 million organically for myself. I've helped multiple businesses. I've retained 8. I've got screenshots of their Shopify. Do you trust me?
Yeah.
And so I think the personal brand piece is trust. And that my opinion on it is like if you're going from 0 to 1 million and you're bootstrapping, it's the cheapest way to build trust. Like it's the cheapest. If someone's going to like dump you a couple of mil as a marketing budget and be like, I believe in you, you just go, you rock star, fucking take it and don't put your face on it.
There's no need. Yeah.
But my take on it is if you're bootstrapping and you've got 0 and you are having to generate yourself, it's the cheapest way to build trust in a market where like no one believes anybody. And
that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah, if you put your face on it and you continually put your face on it, people trust you over time. It's not like an overnight thing, but yeah, it's like a trust building piece. So I think it's more valuable in this market than it is in other markets. Like I think it's more valuable in Australia than it is in, let's say, like a UK or in America. But there'll be people that will challenge me on that. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Your experience as well.
My experience, yeah.
Being from coming to Australia and seeing the differences for sure. So then my next question to that is with the personal branding piece, because it kind of goes back into that, like it's not tech, it is revenue driving, absolutely, because it's more conversion rate retention driving, I'd say, is personal brand, and then the other side is bringing it in. But where do you start, and how do you, when you said that 0 to 1 million, because I know that we've got listeners who are in that spot right now and they've asked me and then they asked me, they're like, but
fucking sucks.
Tash, where do you start? I'm like,
Sending you hugs.
It's hard, right? But how? Okay, you had to do it right now. I know you've achieved incredible success, but if you had to start right now and you had a product-based business or a service-based, it actually doesn't matter, but you just had to build a personal brand alongside it, what would you do?
Just show up as you are. So like drop it, like drop like the pressure of like trying to be something that you're not. Like starting a business from scratch is grind. Like it sucks. like show it, talk about it. No one is going to like judge you for that. It's more embarrassing if you like have this shiny like perception of like what it is, and then it's like 6 months later, like, hey guys, sorry, just that was not true. It's like, sorry, like I thought you were like fucking killing it. So I feel power in like having shown up exactly as I am throughout the last 3 years, because it was so embarrassing at the beginning.
Yeah.
And like, it was so bad. Like, it was so bad. But I think it's like showing up where you're at, sharing the story. If you're doing this from like your sunroom, or you're doing this from the car, or you bought 10 product and the seal's broken, like talk about it. Because you basically, there's a really good book called 100 True Fans, which is basically like if you've got 100 true fans, like you'll always have a really successful business. And so like just see that first stage, like when you're building your business, as like acquiring your 100 true fans. Now I get people reaching out to me being like, I've been following you for 3 years. It's so inspiring. And so all the work I did from that sunroom like 3 years ago, which like had no monetary value, I'm now seeing the return of that, because brands are following, they've been following since then, and they've watched it, and I've built the trust over 3 years. And they've seen me doing it. So then they're willing to give me the 120 grand a year or whatever it is that it costs to work with me. So it's like, yeah.
I think that you've touched on something there with the idea of it like taking time to build, because there's a lot of talk out there of like the overnight success, like the instant.
Not true.
And I want people to talk about the fact that it's bullshit, because so many people see it online and think that they can turn it into like $1 million business overnight, and maybe in like the 0.0001% that happens for, but it is a grind, and there is a lot of work and effort and time involved. And I love the idea of you talking about the brands coming on that journey with you, because I know in my own like personal viewing, I've got like a handful of people that I would throw my money at for whatever product they were pushing any day, because I've followed them throughout time, and I trust them. I trust them. I don't know them, but I trust them.
Trust, doesn't it? Like you keep going back to that, and I love that you keep going back to that. And I think when you said the embarrassing thing about like, you know, it's embarrassing maybe to you, but what you're really, like anyone listening who's like too scared to post and whatnot, it's not embarrassing to them. That's the difference. It's inspiring to them, because they're seeing you when they're in that space being like, oh, I'm this, I'm fumbling, or I'm not doing things right or whatnot. And they're thinking, she's putting herself out there. Good on her.
It's kind of you to think that. I also want to like hold space for people in the sense of like some people's families and friends are not supportive.
Oh, yeah.
And like, I think that's very real. So for example, like when I was doing my like shitty reels, like someone who didn't know how to use Instagram, rather than like forwarding it, like replied. And so yes, like lizard voice, internal lizard voice, ignore it. Don't listen to the like that lizard that's trying to sabotage like what you deserve. But also know that 98% of people out there do not give a shit that I have made $1 million. They want to make $1 million, and they want me to tell them how to do it. And I'm not going to go and put pictures of me driving around in my Merc and my Renault and my fucking Cartier bangles, you know, woo! No one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, and you can take this out. But
no. That's staying in.
No one cares.
Yeah.
So you'll like never see me post that ever, because that's not what people want to see. Like, and I think not getting twisted around human nature, and lizard voice, ignore it, gas him out. He's such a little asshole. It's like, who do you think you are? It's like, sorry, like, who are you? Like, can you get out?
Lizard voice. I haven't heard of that one before.
Lizard voice. It's like, sorry, it's like Randall from Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what I'm picturing.
Yeah, like trying to like fuck you up, and you're like, no, like zip it. Like, sorry, I am the master, you are the slave, not the other way around. But I wish someone had said that to me earlier. Like, that's one bit of advice like I would love to share, just out of a like from a place of protection.
Yeah,
is a lot of people do not have your best interests at heart, and I would have saved myself a lot of heartbreak and a lot of hurt if I had known that. I assumed everyone wanted me to like succeed and like make it rain, and you want me to renovate my apartment. They don't care.
You're right. And it's tall poppy syndrome. That's what we did a whole episode on it, on tall poppy syndrome and just the fact that, you know, unfortunately not everybody wants to see you succeed, and that's like, and rejection's fine, and it's like rejection therapy. I've seen a few things where people will just like go out and like purposely get themselves rejected.
Yeah, I've seen those reels.
I love it. I think it's great because I think it's like, it is a really funny concept of just like slowly just getting yourself used to getting rejected, because I'm sure once you start putting things out on social media, and we've all felt it in different ways, where you just get these like, you just get the wrong algorithm sometimes, or you just get like a whole, you know, a huge thing of hate, or you could get it really nice, and you just got to get used to both.
Yeah. For me, like, it was just always around like why I was doing it. And like, that's kind of what's kept me going. Like, I grew up in a family of artists. Like, money was always an issue. Like, we never had enough, and it always caused like a lot of pressure in my childhood. And so I didn't want a life like that. Like, I wanted to change the narrative of like money being difficult to have. And so I think that's like what's like kept me going. And then now that I've got the runs on the board and I've like proved it to myself, like I actually don't really care anymore. But that first year, that climb to like base camp, which I feel like it is, like to that first mill, like I really did care. And I think people listening will really want their family to get behind them and their friends to get behind them and ask them how it is. And they won't, and that's fine. And if they do, you are very lucky, because a lot of people I speak to don't have that. Like a lot of people I speak to don't have that.
We were literally talking about this today, and we were talking about, and I talk about this with my husband all the time because he's got his own business, and it's the most frustrating thing in the world when you have this expectation of support, like, and you thinking that your community or your circle around you is going to be this big bubble that kind of like wraps their arms around you, protects you, and like, and says you're doing great. But I think the thing that Tash and I both agree on, this is something that she touched on her panel the other day, is the idea of having a group of people whose opinions you do give a shit about, and just focusing on that, and then blocking out the noise for everything else.
Yeah. So my like take on this is like, I only take advice from people who live a life that I want to live, or have done what I've done. So like like, I don't take advice from anybody that, is not living the life that I want to live, or has generated the same or more money than me. And that's just my rule with it now. So I have like 3 or 4 really great mentors, generating maybe 100 million a year. Like, I want their opinion.
Yeah. How did
like,
you?
I want it.
Yeah.
I'm keen.
Yeah.
Like, tell me. Like, bliss. Like, tell me how you got there.
How did you find those mentors? Because that's a big question that we get asked quite a bit. Because I'm very quite similar in the sense of anything I go into, I have to find somebody who's done it and who's already kind of done it. Like done it.
What's a life hack?
It is a life hack. But how do you find them?
I have
Social media?
No. I've just been very, very lucky that over the 3 years, like through the Ask Me Anything, through clients, through like doing the do, like I've met people that align with me. So one mentor, Nalia, she looks after all of my money. And I met her 3 years ago, and I had a really toxic accountant when I first set up my business. I was on Sunrise, I was getting my blow dry, getting ready, getting my makeup done. Obviously, I'm on Sunrise, people. And he was like, you can't put that through as a business expense. I'm like, Paul, sorry, shaming you now here on this podcast. Like, zip it, Paul. Like, literally, like, get out. And so I told my friend Dan, and my friend Dan was like, you should so meet Nalia, you'd love her. She's got a similar business to you, but she's maybe like 20, 30 years older than you. And so then we became really good friends. She watched me build what I built, and then she's like a mentor, has said if I ever want investment, she would give me investment. And so she's someone I really look up to. And then 2 or 3 of my clients like have helped them build their business. Yeah. And then they've then said, like, we would back you, like, can we help you with anything? So it's kind of,
your network. You've built a network, which I think is...
Built a network, There's not like one place. I don't like reach out to people in DMs and be like, will you be my mentor? Yeah. Like, it kind of just comes naturally. Because I think so much of business, I talk about this a lot, is personal and value-led. And I think people that say it's not, like, need to get out of the typical 9 to 5. Business is personal for people. It's hugely personal. Money is hugely personal. How we show up each day, how we treat people, it's all really, really personal. So anybody that says, like, business isn't personal does not know what they're talking about.
I think we've lost ourselves as well a little bit with social media, with all due respect. I understand it's your, but it sounds like that your approach to it's very different and in the best way. But I think that we've lost ourselves with social media because it's so easy to make connections with people, like follow you, follow me, cool, we're connected, we're friends, we're besties now. Em and I know each other, we're besties. But the reality of that is that's not connection and that's not what you preach and that's not the trust that you preach. It's different. That social media thing is a connection is actually us having a conversation, sitting down, getting on the phone, being, hey, Em, what did you do? How did you get here? What did you, and just talking like you're a human, I'm a human.
Like without something to gain
not
from
just
it
liking
directly.
each other's photos either. Like we're so used to, even like people used to speak in high school, we've got a connection to them still now because of social media, right? So you feel connected to them because you know what their baby looks like and you know what their things look like. But the real reality of it is that human connection that you're talking about where you can then, you know, become and grow together, that's what's missing. And I think that's where we get lost.
Yeah. I talk to my partner about this a lot. My world's got a lot bigger and a lot smaller all at the same time. So I went through and did a massive cull on my social media when I first launched the social media coach in the first year. So I got rid of all the people from school. I got rid of all the people that made me feel anxious. I literally just removed them from my follower, not block them, just took them out of my follower list because I was like, you don't need to see what I'm doing. And I also have no interest in seeing what you're doing, said with love. And that was really good. But my world's got bigger because I meet more people now in my life, but my close friends, I have 5. And they're who I call, they're on the WhatsApp. We are all day, every day. And so I kind of have 2 now buckets of my people, my friends, literally I would call them in my darkest hour. And then I also have a lot of business friends and a lot of people that are in that bucket, but I don't get twisted. Yeah. And that's been quite a big bit of work for me to do because at the beginning I was like, what, this is so confusing. Are you my bestie? Are you not? And then so I do that now and that has helped me manage it and navigate it.
Navigate the different areas. Now, when we're talking about social media, because we've had another person who's really big. They grew their following really fast, and she did an exceptional job. Her name's Grace, and she had a really unique way to structure out her social media. And I think that it's interesting because then we had somebody else the next week, and they're like, "No, I just kind of post and see how it goes and whatnot." Yeah. So for not just what you do for your clients, but for what you do for yourself, do you strategize? Do you strategy? Do you plan it all a month in advance, a week in advance? What do you, or do you just kind of go?
I haven't showed up on social for a couple of months because I don't need to.
Yeah.
So when I need to for my business, you'll see me on there.
Okay.
I don't do it all the time. I do it strategically. I'm on social media to market myself and my business to generate revenue. That's why I'm on it.
And I guess it goes back to what you were saying before, which is you've got your goal in mind, and when you hit it, you're like, okay, I'm out for at least a whole minute.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And then I guess when I feel inspired to share, I share. And so that's fun. But generating money through these platforms is relentless. Relentless. When I was trying to get the 8 clients, I was there every single day.
Okay.
I was there sharing posts, sharing tips, sharing reels behind this because I was trying to get in front of people to build trust to get them into my layer. So
I love that.
Just get my layer that is now full and they've all been retained since day dot. So it's I didn't set up a business a traditional agency that was promise them the world in 3 months, flip them, give them a junior. That's not my business model. So if you want to generate money, you have to post consistently. But you have to know how much money and you have to be really, really targeted on that. So an example would be, let's just say you want, 100 to sell 100 units of this cup or whatever we'll do. You want to sell 100 of these cups a week. You'd have a very, very step-by-step formulaic approach to that organically. You would be posting a mixture of different content, obviously reels, product benefits. You'd probably be showing your face. You'd then get new followers in. You'd then be sending them a DM. You would then be, do you know what I mean? It's relentless, the step-by-step. piece, but just like showing up, chucking reels at the wall and being like, aren't I making any money? It's like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like, don't waste my time.
No, it makes sense. And I think I like how candid you are about it, because I think there, like I said before, there's a lot of perception around the idea of it being like a magical overnight thing. But I think that what I want to go back to for a second, because I think it's really interesting, like how you set it up, how you go through get your clients. But you've had these massive careers, like people working at places like the NRL, and they're iconic. That's something that a lot of people starting out would only like ever dream of, being able to kind of go and hit that. Was there a point though when you were working through trying to balance working full time and then starting your own business, or were there like a distinction of like, right, I'm done, see ya?
No, so the Ask Me Anything was launched when I was at the NRL, and then that started to gain traction. And Abdo spoke to me and he said, like, you need to go and do this. Like the NRL, like they can't coexist. Yeah. And so I left, But there was a moment where I was like doing like the art, because I'd never thought the Ask Me Anything was going to be a thing. So when it became a thing and there was the buzz around it, I then left. Yeah, and kind of made the decision to go.
And did you feel ready to do that? Because I think that there's a lot of well, I mean, a lot of people think like outwardly they'd look at you and be like, okay, right, she's hit this kind of peak in career. No, seriously.
Really?
Yeah. And then she's gone off and done her own thing. But there's a huge layering for a lot of people trying to do the same thing from an imposter syndrome perspective. Be like, I cannot do that. I can't cut that cord and move on and do my own thing, because what if I fuck up royally? And what if I fail? And it's a terrifying thought. So did you have that moment where you're like, I know I can do this?
No, I still don't have that. No. You just like, no. And I think most people who have done it would say that like that's just like a continuous like learning of like just, there's so many layers to that. I don't know how to best answer it. I feel like people that... And again, I'm conscious I keep going back to this, and I don't want the whole conversation to just be about this dirty word, but a lot of people are like, they need the salary. Like they need the...
Absolutely.
Like, and so to basically say like, don't get your salary, don't get your annual leave, don't get your sick pay, go and like have a dream, like that's huge. Because I was lucky that Andy, my amazing fiance, who's a carpenter, was able to like just did that for us for that year, like grieving him, like bit of psycho. But a lot of people don't have that. And so I don't want the whole conversation to be about money, but I also do think practically for people, like you're in a very, very privileged position if you're able to go and like give something a red hot crack.
Absolutely you are. Absolutely.
So I think it's more practically about that, like about the money side of things, like how are we going to pay our rent, how are we going to pay our mortgage, like how long is it going to take me to get my first client, like all of that. It's like very real practical thing. That's not like an emotional like imposter lizard voice thing. That's like, hey, like I gotta eat, like thing. So I think like separating them out and being like, okay, practically what does that look like, and then emotionally what does that look like, and then figuring out like how you basically attack both. Because I know I had a lot of limiting self-beliefs around salary. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. Like, that's just me personally. I was like so in my head around that.
It's incredibly
Whereas
common.
Now I'm like, oh.
Yeah, because you've done it. You've hit a goal, and now like, what's the next one?
When I was in it, no, not. I'm done now. Yeah, I've got enough now. So this is like the next phase. Like go and like help other people get it.
That was my next question.
I'm good, sis. I'm good now.
It's incredibly rare considering how ambitious you are, and you've got tremendous success, tremendous ambition.
Yeah.
And you say, look, I'm done. I'll post when I need to get more clients and whatnot.
Yeah.
What's next for you? Like when you look at like the next 5, 10 years, or just 5, like just looking ahead, when you look at that, what does it look like?
Coming back to the mission, like coming back to like what I set out to do 3 years ago, is just demystifying the world of social media. So 2 parts: helping social media managers, making them feel like less isolated, educating them on the different roles, the time that things take. A lot of young people that come into this industry do not know. They come straight out of uni. Someone's like, cool, I'm going to give you this job and you're going to do this scroll of roles, and then they basically get like 8 months in and they're like, I'm shit, I'm not good. It's like, doll, you've literally got like a whole team output list on your one JD, and you're good, I'm sure, but you can't be in 2 places at once. Like, you can't be off shooting and doing community management at the same time. So tell me, like, how are you going to do that? I'm not saying that you're not good at your job. I'm sure you're great. But yeah, so that, supporting social media managers, helping them, giving back to them, demystifying and like empowering them so that they can go on to have careers like I've had and do things like I've done. So that's one part. And then 2, just work with really passionate founders on making more money, which drives me. I love watching them succeed. I love watching them like grow. I'm like there with them. Like, I'm so into it. And yeah, like I think just those 2 things, but not scaling out an agency offering. Definitely not. Definitely not. So yeah.
I think there's power in that and what you said, and I think that's really important. Both of the things that you said are both equally important, which is one, empowering people who are getting into social media, because I remember when I went for my first marketing job, it was field marketing and I didn't know what that meant at the time. But when they told me to get in a van and start door knocking, I was like, this isn't what I learned at Swinburne. Like, this is a bit different. So marketing, unfortunately, has about 17 different definitions. And when you are going for your first job, unfortunately, you might be asked to do all 17 of those definitions at the same time. So I love that you provide that support, because it's important. But on the second end of it, I think that the fact that you are empowering people in the world of just running as fast as you can, make as much money as you can, do this, get as many clients as you can. I know from my end, when I was consulting for marketing, I hated having a lot of clients. I hated it. To your point, I needed it at the time, because I was like, I need to pay my bills. It is what it is. And I like it, that was, means to an end at that point. So I don't regret it. But if I was to do things differently, I love that you're putting out that message in there that there is absolutely nothing wrong, and it's actually exceptional that you would rather grow with 8 incredible businesses that you choose, that you believe in, earn what you want to earn still, earn great money, but be able to just be content, happy, and have purpose in that. And that's unique. And I think that's important. I think it's really important.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like 80 grand a month is enough. I mean, I'll let you know if I ever need more. But like, for me, that's good. And like, and then the retained 8, like a couple of them have given me shares in their businesses. Yeah. So like,
that's awesome. That's huge.
But like, I was clear with the end goal from the beginning. Literally 3 years ago, I was like, that's how much I want a month. How am I going to get it?
How do you work backwards from that?
Yeah, work backwards. And I think that's grounding, and I feel power in that, because I'm not constantly chasing the next thing. I have no interest. I'm protecting like my profit margin, because like you can keep generating money, but like if you're not having it in your bank account for you to have a lovely life, why are you doing it? Like business is horrendous. Like business is gross sometimes. Like, and if you're not enjoying the fruits, like if you're not in Italy for 3 months, girlfriend, on that little Aperol, why not?
Yeah.
Like go. And like I think there's a lot of like negative sentiment around like business owners being greedy, and a lot of, like there's definitely that sort of, I've seen
perception. And also where the business owner almost feels guilty, where they have to be there and they're like, I've got to be there 100% of the time, because then other people are going to look at me and think I'm not working. But you get into business for that very reason of what you just said, the ability to go do 3 months to yourself. And if you can, amazing. I think it's incredible.
But then also like visualize that, aspire to that, go get that, be clear on what you want. And then just like build it, like chip away at it, build it, celebrate it. Rather than kind of trying, like, I think people are so confused. I know I had my end goal, but I would get confused along the way of like, because things conflict, like we'll just like walk in contradictions.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's surrounding yourself with people that are more successful than you is awesome.
Yeah,
I wish someone had said that to me. Yeah. Because like anyone making more money than you is going to help you up. Like anyone.
Yeah.
Anybody who is not coming from a place of scarcity has done it is like, yeah, sure. Like, how can I help you? Like, how? Like, tell me, what do you need? Like, do you need an introduction? Do you need this? What do you need? And like, that's awesome. Like when you start like getting people in your, because like they're not competing with you.
Yeah,
They've
no.
got it. Like they're good doll.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it's not that, it's like avoiding that scarcity mindset, because a lot of people who are at the same level or below you, they're going to think that it's not possible because they haven't seen it done for themselves yet.
Yeah.
And you kind of break that apart when you go to people who have walked the walk.
yeah.
I could quite literally speak to you for
Are we done?
700, 540 hours. But before we're done, there is one question that we like to ask
Yeah.
every single person that we have, every single incredible guest. Now, you might have just answered it, so you feel free
Yeah, you
to
get a pass
repeat
if you
yourself.
like.
Okay. No,
You can get a pass if you like. But I think one of the most important questions for our listeners to listen to is, what would you tell your younger, fresh out of high school self? They're fresh out of high school.
Yeah.
They're stressed. They're, you know, you've got to pick what uni degree you're going to do. Like, there's so many things going on.
Yeah.
What would you tell her?
I would tell her, without quoting Taylor Swift, there are many eras ahead of you. And so enjoy the era that you're in and allow like the eras and chapters to kind of develop and change, because they will. And I think just like really knowing that and having faith that like, yeah, your eras will like roll. And like just because you're in one chapter at the moment doesn't mean that like the next chapter's not coming.
I love that.
Beautiful. I have to give you a clap because that was killer.
Yeah.
And before we jump off, where can people find you? Not to be your client.
Please don't find me.
Don't
Like,
be your
don't
client.
find- no, don't find me.
Just to check out and see the incredible breadth of work that you've done. Where can they find you?
I am on LinkedIn just as M Rose, and then the social media coach, which is just the business name. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
This is, I think, like my favorite.
Oh, you're calling favourites.
This is
You're
my
not allowed to pick your
favourite.
favourite child.
gonna
but
No, don't say that. Cut that out.
You're picking your favourite child.
Guys, it might be the humidity.
Oh, yeah, we're also in a complete hot box. But thank you so much for your time. We are so happy that you're here. And honestly, I'd like selfishly, I've got a lot out of this for myself and things like that. I know our listeners will, but I know selfishly I have as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And for everyone listening, we'll be in your ears in 2 weeks' time.
See you then.
See you then. Bye.